Hello class, let me learn about types of selection structure. So there are different types of selection structures, that is if, that with if we can write condition, and if the condition is true what we want to do, that we can perform. If with else, if, else if else, and nested if statements. So this is just a figure which is reflecting if else statement, and this is only if statement. Look at here, it is showing like if we are writing some condition here, and if the condition is true, what you want to perform, the steps are displayed here. So this is called a simple if statements. And here, suppose you want to write a condition, so that is your condition. If the condition is true, what statements you want to execute, so that part is written here. But if the condition is false, what statements you want to execute, that part is written here. So this is like if with else. So if the condition is correct, execute these statements, else execute these statements. Okay, now let me learn the syntax in C++. So if it is about simple if statement, so with if we are writing condition. Okay, in this module we will learn about which are different types of conditions are possible, like we can use a relational operator, we can use logical operators, and so on. So that is what we are going to learn in this module. Okay, so if, then with if there is condition. If this condition is correct, what statements you want to execute? Now, the next is if with else statement. So here, this is another type of statements. So here we can write if, then condition. If the condition is correct, what statements you want to execute? Else means if this condition is false, what statements you want to execute. So you can use like if with else. Now make sure that else is always followed by if statement. And the second thing is else cannot have any condition. Okay, so we cannot write else statement without if. And second is we cannot write any condition with else statement. Now, the third types of if else statement is if else statements. This is also called ladder if else statements or ladder else if statements too. So here if with condition, if this condition is correct, what statements you want to execute? Else part, if this condition is false, then else part, if you want to verify the condition too, then you can execute this condition too. If it is correct, then what statement you want to execute? And if both conditions are false, then what statement do you want to execute? That can be written in else part. Okay, so else, if. So with if we are writing conditions. So that is like if we have multiple options, then which options we have to select. So if this is correct, then I want to do this. Else, if this is correct, then I want to do this. Else, if this is correct, then I want to do this. Else I will do this, right? So if you have like multiple options, you can use this kind of statements. Now, there is no limitation like how you can use else if statement or how many else if statements you can use. Next is a nested if statements. So we can write if within if as per our requirement, and that is called nested if statement. So we are writing one condition. If this condition is true, then we want to verify, okay, if it is true, then whether this condition is true. If both are true, then what I want to do. So the statements will be here. And if first condition is correct but the second condition is not correct, then what you want to do? So that is in a else part. Okay, so this is, we have written if within a if, and that is why it is called a nested if statement. Now, for example, if this condition is false, we want to execute the else part, and in else part again we want to write any condition, then we can write it. So there is no fixed rule that how can you nest or how can you write if within a if statement. That is completely depend on your program's requirement and your program's logic. Okay, so these are four types of four types of if else statements. Only if statements, if with else statements, then if else if statements, and nested if else statements. Thank you.